Hello, my name is Aurora. I am a visionary artist and a galactic walk-in, and I am here to invite you to participate once again in the course of study I've created called Lessons for Full Spectrum Humans. Now, first of all, let's define terms. A walk-in, I call myself a walk-in. I am not the original inhabitant of this physical form. I came into this body in the year 2001 on October 8th, and I have a message or a mission or a purpose for being here in the physical form. And that purpose is to share with you the concept of the Flying Rainbow Lasagne. So this is an interdimensional portal, a higher dimensional shape that I created as part of my process of walking in here, and it is a embodiment of the concept of non-duality. This shape allows one to change the shape of the toroidal or donut-shaped energy field into a new format and thereby access greater portions of your heritage, or let us say your potential as a fully psychic being. So, Lessons for Full Spectrum Humans is a series of online courses that I developed, recorded online lessons. So what I do is take images of my artwork, and first of all, I'm primarily a visual artist, and this is the way that I communicate, through pictures and through colors and through animations. And I have also begun putting these into an online whiteboard called educreations, which then records my pen and my voice as I write and speak and draw pictures on top of these pictures. So because so much of this language is visually oriented, and this language, this also has to do with being a walk-in. Where did I learn this? I learned this from the galactic brethren to whom I am connected telepathically. So I exist in a state of telepathic rapport with a group of interdimensional and extraterrestrial beings who I have learned a lot from. And the Flying Rainbow Lasagne is a personal edition written in the language of vibration, written in this higher dimensional language. So I didn't invent this higher dimensional language. I learned it, and I learned to speak through it, and this is my contribution. Lessons for Full Spectrum Humans. This is what's new. So the lessons began actually 2 years ago. Last year was the first time that I created a formalized course where students could enroll, and for the first time, students now have the opportunity to not only enroll and participate online, students may also purchase Lessons for Full Spectrum Humans as a DVD box set. Let me just show you. There's actually two parts to this lovely boxed set. This is part 1, lessons 1 through 10. This is part 2, lessons 11 through 20. So the entire first level of the course, or I call it the initiatory level of the course, is 20 lessons and has originally been presented as a 20-week course. I release one lesson a week, and I think that's sensible. When I have presented it as a sped-up course condensed into 6 weeks over the summer, it was too much of an information overload for some people, and most people fell behind. So we're keeping it at one lesson per week. There is a written Q&A on the educreations website. After each lesson, students have the opportunity to share their insights, make comments, or write questions. And I also hold a monthly online video conference for all participants. This is the initiatory level. There is now also an advanced level. So if you are a former participant, a former student from previous semesters, first of all, if you have paid tuition in previous semesters, you do not have to repay in order to re-experience. You are welcome to be along with the group again and re-experience and share your insights again. However, if you have not yet, if you have been in the initiatory class but have not yet taken the advanced class, it is necessary to set up tuition for that, and then you can participate. So what I'm trying to say is this box set right here represents the initiatory or first level of the course. There is a second level of the course which has not yet been made into a box set. This is the advanced level. It is necessary as a prerequisite to go through the course on the first level to take the advanced level, okay? So in order to participate, tuition. Tuition is, for participating via the online course, $100 for a 5-month course. I feel a very reasonable fee. I have not changed my fee structure since I first began presenting this material. However, in order to buy the DVDs, because of the costs of publication, just the cost of the first 10 lessons is $125. The second is $125. If you buy both at once, instead of $250, it is $225. So that is a very good solution for people who often had issues with the lessons and the quality of their internet connection and how fast it was streaming. The lessons online are available through educreations and also through YouTube. This means that even people who were in foreign countries, and yes, this is an interdimensional and international course where I have had people from Australia, people from the subcontinent of India, Netherlands, United States, Canada, basically anyone, and I'm sorry that it is only presented in English at this moment, but anyone from any English-speaking country is invited to participate. So many people had issues with their internet broadcast being too slow to pick up the lessons, and they would have breaks in the lesson. So for people who have that issue, it is best to participate by buying the box set. So once again, the option of participating online or buying the DVDs. If you buy the DVDs, you are still absolutely considered a part of the class and enrolled as a student, and that way you can take part in the Q&A and the video conferences. Okay, why? Why the necessity of formally enrolling? Well, the answer is because I am a teacher and a conduit for information that comes from a higher dimension. We talk about taking ethical responsibility for the information. Just checking on my equipment that everything's recording properly. We take ethical responsibility for the information that we send out. So what that means is that before I just willy-nilly start telling people about things that will really change their mind and their perspective and might make them act very differently in the world, I make sure that they agree to participate and they say, yes, I choose to expose myself to this information. Even beginning this video that I did today with the Flying Rainbow Lasagne is a little bit iffy because this is a new concept. The Flying Rainbow Lasagne, I like to say, is like open source code for your DNA. Just seeing this shape changes you on a deep level. It exposes you to new information. Being exposed to the rest of the information that is contained within this course can have a big impact and change the shape of your energy field, the shape of your DNA. It can highlight information that you have had dormant or talents and capacities that you have had dormant inside of you. So to give you an example, previous students have had awakenings as to their own personal intergalactic heritage, people understanding on a deep level that they themselves are star seeds. That is the type of awakening that one can expect when one engages in this new exposure of information. To give you a more formal delineation of what is in the actual course, the very first lessons are all about the chakras on the body, the shapes, I would not call them geometry because we no longer call it geo meaning centered in the earth, geometry being the science of measuring things on the earth. We are talking about a higher vibrational language. So the higher vibrational language of color, line, shape, form, and movement, understanding inorganic beings, understanding time, understanding the torus, the shape of the donut, this shape of the energy field that you see around the figures in these paintings over here. the idea of the source, and that we are consciousness on a journey that comes from the source and returns to the source, and how that affects our DNA, then I begin to talk about the Flying Rainbow Lasagne and non-duality. So just in order to be able to understand what the Flying Rainbow Lasagne is, it's necessary to learn one's ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and then one can begin to say, I see that the Flying Rainbow Lasagne is color-coded according to the color of the spectrum, which is what our chakras are color-coded towards, and I understand that adding another dimension adds an additional degree of freedom. So a lot of the concepts that are in my teaching and in my artwork are math concepts. However, I did not come to this information with a math background at all. I present it in a way that is accessible to people who do not have a math background. And same thing with science. Don't come from a science background. However, I use a lot of scientific terminology in order to find a common ground with people in this time and place to be able to talk about these concepts that really have not yet been embraced by science. The second half of the DVD set goes into more practical applications of understanding how your energetic anatomy and how that is connected with the sun. Sun gazing, or eating the sun's emanations through your third eye as a form of nourishment, beginning this practice and how to do it safely. I teach students of this course how to do it properly. I talk a lot about Christ consciousness, which is centered right here on our indigo chakra on the brow, and also unconditional love, and the heart chakra, which is centered right here in the center of the chest. That really a great deal of this teaching is about cultivating unconditional love, a stance of non-judgment and neutral observation through which energy can flow, not only from the higher realms to the denser realms, but from the denser realms, from Earth, up to the less dense realms. Because one of the main parts of this teaching is that each one of us is a full spectrum being. Many people have not yet claimed their heritage or might not be aware of it, but each one of us is a complete rainbow and a bridge between the earthly reality and the non-earthly reality, the organic and the inorganic, spirit and matter. And this is the non-duality that I am talking about and representing as this visual physical representation right here. And this non-duality translates into our understanding of good versus evil and light versus dark. So a lot of what the course is about is healing that rift, or resolving that rift that really was programmed in socially, and being able to live in a non-judgmental way. And when you live in that way, you have way more access to your psychic abilities. Flying Rainbow Lasagne is also a new concept that gives one greater access to one's psychic abilities. I go into in lesson 18, which is part of the second set here, self-protection against negative, lower vibrational thought entities. This is one of the most powerful teachings, and it comes at the end of the course because it takes a lot of mental and emotional preparation to get to the point where one can appreciate what is in that lesson. But I have had students tell me that it's literally life-changing, that it saved them from the feelings of doubt and self-sabotage and negativity that had been plaguing them for years. And sometimes these were internally arising doubt and negativity voices. Sometimes they were embodied by beings exterior, and that it was time for people to move away from those negative beings in their life. So huge awakenings happened from lesson 18. It's a big one. And then we also go into, at the very end of the course, the idea of ascension. And this course material was recorded during 2012. And really it was all about planetary ascension, redefining death, how we can redefine death by reprogramming our mind and our perception. We no longer have to follow the pre-programmed, socially accepted idea of growing older, aging, and dying. We can now redefine aging by cellular renewal. We can now redefine how we live our lives and exist in a state of vitality for a much longer chronological period. our human bodies were not meant to disintegrate within 100 years. Certainly not. They were designed to last much, much longer. And so we are now coming out of this time of really darkness and moving into a time where people have access to a lot more information and light, and recognize that they do not have to follow the old programs of darker times. So I am here in order to give some of this new information. Let's also talk about the advanced course. If you know and love Lessons for Full Spectrum Humans and you've already participated in the initiatory level, you're invited to participate on the advanced level. And I liken it to advanced physics, where in beginning physics you learn about the existence of an atom, and advanced physics you learn about what that actually means and apply it to day-to-day life and to your experience. Well, in the Lessons for Full Spectrum Human, initially you learn about the existence of your chakras, the existence of timelines, the existence of your third eye and your pineal gland and your Christ consciousness and your own divinity. As we go into subsequent teachings and more masterful teachings, we're talking about being an artist of your own reality, about making choices and intentionally partnering with the universe in what you send out in order to weave your own ideas into the tapestry of reality. It's being a master. It is creating the world around you, and all of the responsibility and excitement that comes from being able to affect and transform the world around us. So I invite you, burgeoning masters, to enroll for the second level of the course, which I will also unabashedly tell you is still in the process of being recorded. So 12 lessons have been recorded of the higher level material. However, I relocated to where I am currently speaking from. This is Fortuna, Northern California, where I have my new studio. And there was an interruption in the flow. And when I came out here, I started to connect through the giant redwood trees that are in the area to new levels of understanding. So sign up for the second level program because it has not yet been fully recorded, and there are wonderful new exciting ideas that are coming at each moment from the consciousness of the trees, which are also interdimensional, or let's say multidimensional beings. So I get so excited when I get to talk about these things. This is truly me living my purpose on Earth. This is what I was placed here for. This is what I went through many difficulties and many challenges in order to occupy a physical form and be here in this time and place. I came to tell people about the Flying Rainbow Lasagne. I came here to share the information that I have access to by connecting to higher dimensional beings. And I came in order to learn from what is reflected back to me. When I send out this artwork, when I send out these teachings or these videos, when I say these things, what is reflected back? So much of the treasure has been what I learned from what students or participants in this course have sent back to me. So again, even if you yourself are an educator, a metaphysician, a highly trained expert in your field, I invite you to participate, even if you might already know about some of this information, because I'm certain that you have so much to gain by sharing and also having what you know reflected back to you. A brief note on the charging of tuition and the fact that this is spiritual teaching. In the past, I have had many people who are part of the spiritual or New Age movement say, but wait, Aurora, it is inappropriate for you to be charging money for the sharing of this higher dimensional teaching or wisdom. And just in order to very gently reiterate, it is indeed appropriate to ask for an equal exchange of energy when one sends out energy, to ask for that energy to be reflected back. So again, very affordable tuition, $100 for 5 months of intensive work and tons of great insight. And it is something that I would not want someone to choose not to participate merely because they do not have access to physical resources. However, in order for me to make this sustainable and in order for me to continue to bring these videos, the cost of my equipment, the cost of web hosting, the cost of uploading videos, all of that needs to be paid for, including the care and feeding of Aurora, the physical corporeal vessel through which the information comes. So if you enjoy this information, would like to participate, I encourage you to enroll. Okay, so now at the bottom of this video, there will be many links to follow. You may follow links in the description to my website, flyingrainbowlasagne.com, where you will be able to friend me on Facebook, find me on Twitter, find all of my emails and links, and find tons of information about the course, the full course description, and even sample videos. You will also find a link to educreations.com, where if you would like access to videos that I recorded in the past that do not require tuition and can give you an idea of what some of this information is about, you are welcome to access those videos for free. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I thank you so much for being on board. This is a transportive vessel to go to a new place. I invite you to be on board for the journey. Thank you so very much. Thank you for tuning in.